Hi guys, welcome back to Classic Arcade Repairs. Pardon me. Darn. I just unboxed and unwrapped with a mountain of pink bubble wrap Star Wars board set. And this one, and this is huge. This is a big deal. I wanted to point this out. This customer sent along their harness, and this was not that hard to get this out. You know, it's not hard to get out. It's not hard to put back. But this is a big deal. This is an Atari Star Wars. These are absolute trash edge connectors. Your game will never be reliable with an edge connector like this. Never. So this is another thing to consider when you're working on a game or you're getting a game fixed. The edge connector, remember I always say connections are everything. This is garbage. Both of them. Look how pushed back that one is. And these, that one's burnt and pushed back on the end. Yeah, these are no good. This game, look at that one all burn up. These things are sideways and pushed back, and yeah. So this game would never be reliable with those edge connectors. So you get everything from turning it on to not having anything to do, or not the thing not working at all. Random resetting, freezing, stopping, burning the edges on the board. That's how edge connectors on boards get burnt, is because of this stuff right here. So yeah. Yeah, so we are replacing these edges. And this is out of a cockpit game, Star Wars. What was reported was it just random clicks with the coin counter, click, 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 click. It doesn't do anything, and then it stopped even doing that. So it's just dead. It doesn't do anything. Number one, that can cause that. This thing can cause all kinds of weirdness and the game not running. So this is imperative that this gets addressed. Always check your edges, your board connections in your games. So yep, and we have an Empire Strikes Back kit. I'm going to put that aside. I'm not even going to mess with that until this thing is running, until it's working as just Star Wars. Get that squared away, and then you can move on to the other stuff. So the two boards are up there, the main boards. Here's our interconnect board. I think it's in there, and we have an AR and a soundboard. So I'm rebuilding and testing the AR, and then of course we're testing the whole board set. So yeah. So we'll get to it. I think the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to do the edge connector harness. Get that out of the way. So I'll do that and then come back with the boards. But this is just, you know, elementary. It's just replacing the edges. That's all. So, and we'll get that done, and then we'll come back and start with the board repair. Yeah, one more thing about this is something kind of peculiar. I have never seen Atari use these. These are the kind of pins that destroyed Pac-Man boards. the kind of edges. These are the ones that you always saw on Pac-Man edge connectors. The solid pins like this. Yeah. I bet you this has hardly any tension at all going on the board. It probably slides right over that board. I'd be anxious. I'll be curious to look at the boards and see what the edges are looking like. Are our edges burnt up at all? That one looks great, so that's not a problem. And that one looks good too, so we're lucky. Although I don't think that AC is sent to this board, but 5 volts and ground can still, if enough resistance builds up between the 5-volt pin and ground on these, the AR will continuously kick up the raise the amperage or whatever, or to try to compensate for that. And that's how these things get burnt. So it doesn't matter if it's just, it doesn't really matter if it's not AC voltage. These could have still gotten burned up by those bad edges, but luckily they're not. They look great, so that's really good. But we need to take care of this before something bad does happen. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, I just got the Star Wars board set out on the bench, and this is a beautiful board set. It is the cleanest Atari board set I think I've ever seen. As far as nice and shiny and just beautiful. Clean. I got the harness done over here. Got my new edges. Nice, new. Nice and new and shaky, sorry. And I just encapsulated in a little bit of hot glue to keep it nice and safe. And labeled part side. Oops. Yeah, I'll just lay it down right here. That's fine. That's fine. Stay. Stay. There you go. Okay. Alright, I have ready to check some power voltages. Let's turn it on. I got it set up to here. It is now on and it's not doing anything. I hear some weird static out of the speaker. We have 5 volts here, which is good. That's right here. Move over right here. 5, good. And then these voltages here. This is 5, 12, -5. Yeah. Voltages are all good. No problem. So, it's not doing anything. So I'll have to turn the scope on and start probing the CPU. Start probing around on the CPU and see where we're at from there. Let's put it in test. Will it give us anything? It is now in test. I'm going to restart it. We'll start it and test. No, it doesn't do anything. She dead. Yeah. Okay. These are all the right way. All right, so I can't get over how clean this board is. It looks brand new. It's awesome. All right, I'm just going to get the scope, turn the scope on, and probe around the CPU, probe some, basic stuff, and see if we're doing anything at all. If it's resetting, see what's going on with this thing. Make sure all of our clocks are at the CPU and that kind of stuff. Easy stuff. So I'll do that. I'll be right back. Well, you know what I did to just on a whim, I was like, you know what I need to do? I need to make sure that the CPU is not the problem. So I put in a new CPU. It's the CPU. It's a dead CPU. You believe that? How about that? Let's throw this thing over to the Wells Gardner monitor. You wanna? The 6100. See what we got. Be right back. Looking good. I'll have to get my pots out and hook up to this so that I can test the gun and all that good stuff. So I will do that. I still have to rebuild the AR board, which I will do that. And test it. But first things first, let's what do we want to do first? Let's test the pots and the sounds. I know the voice works. Watch. I'll turn it off, turn it back on. And you'll hear Obi-Wan.
Will be with you.
There you go. So let me dig out my pots and we'll test out sounds and all that good stuff. Alright, we're into the test menu and we can test the pots now. And you see they test just fine. Move it all over. And is this, yep, left thumb, right thumb, left fire, right fire. Right, continue. No errors. Looks good. Looks good. Good. Oops. That's it. This thing works good. I am going to do some routine type stuff because this does have these sockets and they are a little bit corroded inside. So these sockets need to be replaced. So I'll do that. And of course, as I do with all of my vector games, with all of the vector stuff, we rebuild up here because this stuff will fail. If this thing's running for any amount of time, these things can easily fail. So we're going to renew up here caps, amps, caps and amps, and then sockets. And that'll do. We've got the harness done, so this game will be nice. The AR is going to be done. I'm going to do this stuff first and then I'll do the AR. So I'm going to do all of this work on this board. All of these sockets are getting replaced. All of these sockets. All of these sockets. And that'll do. We'll get to it. Alright, now I have this board stripped. I got the op amps all off, all 5 TL082 op amps off of it. I got the 2 regulators and then the caps off of it. And these sockets pulled. And we'll go ahead and repopulate this guy. And then I'll work on the CPU board. Alright, and here is the parts pulled for this. 140 pin socket, 7 24s. Here are the 5 8-pin sockets and new TL082 op amps. 22 microfarad caps, 100 microfarad caps, and the positive and negative 15 volt regulators. All new. So we'll go ahead and populate all of that into here. This board will be good to go. Okay, so we have replaced, I just got finished with this board. All of these sockets have been replaced. This one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. As well as clean the board. Clean the flux off of the back of it after my work. And I did the same thing here. This one, that one, these 6 sockets. And then rebuilt up here, new op amps, new sockets, the 5 op amps and sockets. The power supply regulators have been replaced, as well as the caps. These caps over here, all these, all good. And it is looking good. I will try to give it a quick playthrough and make sure everything looks like it's doing what it should. Alright, so we'll go ahead and do this. Alright. I guess I can just hit start.
Red 5 standing by.
And
220, keep the power. Yahoo! You're all clear, kid. Remember, the Force will be with you, always. The Force will be with you.
All right, everything is good to go. All I need to do now is redo the AR board for this set. And this will be a complete system. The edge connector's been replaced, and we'll have a new AR. The owner can do a big blue. That'll have to be done, the big blue. And the board set will be solid for years to come. No connection issues. I will advise them to buy and have on hand an AVG chip, because it does have the original AVG chip. Yeah. Yep, has the original AVG, which that's a ticking time bomb right there. So, arcade shop, Buildtronics, there's a couple places where you can get these AVG chips, and you need a backup. If you have a color XY game that uses that, you need to have one of these backed up. So, 'cause that will fail eventually. It will. It's just a matter of time. Alright. Well, I'm going to get to that AR. And I'm going to completely overhaul that thing. I'm going to replace the pins in the Molex plugs, everything. It's going to be, you know, made really nice. So, this is going to be a sweet game. It should be reliable. Just have a couple parts in weight. One of those. It'll be good to go. I would say get a few RAM chips. Have some of these. You can just get 6116s. Have some of those backed up. Have an AVG chip in reserve. You'll be good to go. Anyway, I'm going to get to that AR board, and we'll be back. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm just going to upload this, and then maybe I'll do the AR separate. Let's do that. Let's call this one good right here, and then the AR will be its own standalone repair. Alright. Thanks, guys. Thanks to all the Patreon supporters. Appreciate y'all. Thanks to everyone for viewing. Subscribe if you're not. All that regular stuff. And thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Peace out.